Hello everybody and welcome back to a new mod showcase. Today we've got the Immortal Empires Expanded mod, which I'm sure all of us are very familiar with, but I thought we'd take a trip down memory lane and just kind of explore it all, because it's a really good looking mod. It's recently received an update, and I say recently and as in within the past year. Has received an update, but what I'm also going to do is include the Legendary Lord mod for it as well, because it's good enough playing it with just all the expanded space, but it's also nice to be able to play factions that actually spawn down there as well. So we've got a little bit of a look around of the map, as well as a bit of a showcase of the 15 legendary lords which the other submod adds to the mod. So without further ado, if you do enjoy this video, please leave me a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'm slowly encroaching on 900 subs. We are nearly there. And without further ado, let's get in to the showcase. Okay, so here we are in the Immortal Empires map. Obviously, usually the Immortal Empires kind of cuts off here along the northern tip here. We've got the Red Fortress, which then cuts off along the eastern coast all the way down to the Hidden Landing. And then from the Hidden Landing, it usually goes across all the way up here to the Temple of Elemental Winds, and then again across to the Haunted Forest and the rest of the map. That is usually where it cuts off. So everything else here, as you can see, plenty of factions down here, here, just literally everywhere, is all new and for me to show you. So let's get into it and kind of have a look what we've got new in this mod. So we're going to start with the Jungles of Ind. We have a Ogre Kingdom's tribe called Death Toll in the northern mountains here of Ind, looking really nice. Having 3 settlements, not too bad. We've got a new dwarven tribe, our clan. Sorry, I love dwarves. Firebeards, excavators, led by no other than Vikram Redbeard himself. We've got on the west flank a Corsairs of Spite Dark Elf clan. Again, looking quite nice, led by Duriath Helbane. As we go south, we've got a Empire faction, which are the Guest of the Raja, looking really nice here, with 4 settlements as well, so kind of being a more of a powerhouse here, which is looking lovely, jubbly. And then here, on the southern west coast of Ind, we've got a Warriors of Chaos faction called the Scourgeborn. But what's interesting here is they obviously expand all the way down northwest, and then they actually expand over to this settlement here. Now, this is something I would love for them to do in the Tides of Torment DLC, but I know they're not going to include Ind or Khuresh in that DLC, which is such a shame, but would make so much sense. So we know that the third faction is now the High Elves, right? With that being said, I think one of the Slanesh factions is going to spawn here. Quite simply, I think one of them is going to spawn here. They're going to fight against whoever, and then going to have to go up against Tzeentch. I feel like it's almost guaranteed. With that being said, I would love for this faction to actually be introduced, the Tor Elithis, because no one comes to see them. No one sees them, no one comes to visit them. They literally just sit here. Aemon literally just sits here for the whole entire campaign and turtles up. So having the next High Elf Legendary Lord to like spawn here, conquer these isles, and then be able to sail over here or go fight the Slanesh factions, I think would be just so cool and like make so much sense. Obviously, we can still do it with the mod. You know, do you know what I mean? Like, if he was to spawn here, the mod would still allow him to go up there, and I think it'd be quite a cool campaign for him to go up there, because there's, as you'll see in a minute, quite a lot of high elf colonies here. But it'll be a shame that we have to do it through mods when CA should, incorporate it themselves. But that's drama for another day. Okay, so moving over to the Jungles of Khuresh, this is usually where it cuts off here. We don't have access to this side of the map usually. So we've got obviously the Orc tribe here leading the defence of the non-accessible Southlands, but fine. Straight off the get-go, we've got an Ogre Kingdom's tribe called the Snake Biters, occupying quite a few settlements there. I'm loving that little snake statue there. Well, it's more like a serpent slash dragon, but it looks really cool. So yeah, some Ogre Kingdoms, not too bad. On the western coast, we have a Greenskins faction, which is called the Speaking Trees. They're probably a bit insane, but you know, probably close allies to the northern Greenskins up there, which is quite nice. Moving a little bit more south, we've got, or central, shall we say, we've got a Lizardman faction, which is nice to see. Good luck pronouncing the names, because God, the Scions of Zohalanka. I think that was pretty good. I was probably butchering it. So yeah, nice to see the Lizardmen's obviously occupying some ancient lost cities in the middle of Khuresh here, looking lovely. On the western flank, we have some Bretonians, the Leofrix Fellowship, Bretonnian faction. So that's basically the Fellowship of the Ring coming down to Mordor. I'm joking. But yeah, a nice Bretonnian faction, obviously adding that diversity. Okay, I do know my directions. I don't know if I said western or eastern, but I've just kind of confused myself. This is the eastern flank. I feel like I said western flank by accident, but you know, live and let live. On the west, on the western flank, there we go. We have a Khorne faction, which is the servants of the Blood Nigers. They've got quite a lot of territory here. Obviously, living well where I'd like to say the Niger should be. So you know, rest in peace, Snake Men. They also have this little outpost out here, which is meant to be like a high elven settlement, it looks like, but yeah, Khorne's living there now. God, just listen to the sounds coming from in there. But yeah, looking really nice with Khorne obviously living in it. Looking really nice regardless with Khorne living in it. As we go south, we've got Clan Rickek, led by Boiler of the Cripple Peak. So we've got some Skaven here, which is nice to see. Some sneaky Skaven. And then right at the south here, I'm liking these snowy trees kind of coming in here. We've got a High Elf faction, which is the Gate Guards, which literally occupy these two settlements. I'm hoping these are done properly, so these are like sentinels, so they don't move in it from like these settlements, just kind of sit there. We have a unoccupied but really cool looking lost city here, Sunken City of Malay. Yeah, I'm really liking that actually. It's a shame that no one's living in it currently, but I'd colonise it. I'd send people down there to live. See you later. Okay, so moving over to the southeast of the map, this is their newest expansion of the Immortal Empires Expanded map. This place looks absolutely beautiful, by the way. The amount of work and effort put into building this place is glorious. I love how this is like kind of like their decanting area where they take people off the ships and set up a little area where they kind of group up first before obviously going on to the rest of the settlement. This reminds me of something. So sorry, this is Tor Elithis, the High Elven faction. This reminds me of something. I'm having like Witcher vibes. I don't know why, and maybe like World of Warcraft vibes. Like, it looks beautiful, may I add. But I am seeing, look at that massive shell. I am seeing yeah, World of Warcraft kind of mixed with like Witcher, as it's gonna sound weird, but Witcher 2 when you're going around like the Elven area kind of reminds me more so like around here. This is like Witcher 2-y to me. But looking beautiful nevertheless. That looks so nice. The amount of work gone into obviously building this is lovely. So there we go, that is Tor Elithis. And then just to the north of that, of course, the High Elves can never have anything too nice for too long. So we've got the Harbingers of Pain, or Harbingers of Pain, which is a Dark Elf faction, only occupying 2 settlements, but basically here to just piss off the High Elves as best they can. Again, settlement-wise, absolutely beautiful. Loving that. That is glorious. Okay, I do want to apologise real quickly for the random cuts. I've got a bit of a cold, so I'd assume you probably don't want to all hear me just sniffing my brains out and just being absolutely gross and grotesque. Probably not what you're here to listen to, so I apologise for the cuts. I'm trying my best not to just, die on mic, but, we're trying. We'll keep on moving. So, moving over to Nippon. So, Nippon's quite an interesting faction. Because very much like the jungles of Khuresh and the jungles of Ind, these are factions which are occupied by an actual race which we don't have access to yet. Maybe never. So there is a mod for Tigermen of Ind, which is currently a supplement to Cafe, but I know they're working on making it a whole entire faction. If they were to spawn down here, you know, kind of incorporate into this mod, absolutely fantastic. I know there's also a Mercenaries of Khuresh mod, which I think they're working on a grander scale mod as well, like a more faction based, instead of just being mercenaries or supplements. So great. But as for Nippon, unfortunately, Nippon is basically Total War's version of Japan, but we don't have the Japanese themed units, which is unfortunate, and hopefully something which will be fixed in the future. Someone will make a nice Nippon mod, but from what I've seen, I've not actually seen a nice Nippon mod yet, but you know, maybe in the future. So on the eastern coast here, we've got some Tomb Kings, the Sons of Petra here, only having a couple of settlements, but nice addition, you know, a little bit different, not all the same. Having a bit more central territory here in the middle, we've got the Okumoto clan. So unfortunately, we've got the Okumoto clan, and the main legendary lord has a Japanese themed named. However, they're all going to be Chinese themed units, and then unfortunately, with the way it works, because they're not a sub-mod, all of the additional lords will be named Chinese, but the main lord has a Japanese name. It's a shame. It's such a shame. So there we go. We've got the Okumoto clan, obviously occupying the more central part of Nippon. Towards the north here, we've got another, again, Kafeian, but Nippon themed clan. We've got the Saneo clan. Again, Japanese themed name, but unfortunately not Japanese themed units. Again, he's got 3 territories. Quite nice there. Is he at war with the Tomb Kings? No. Oh, right, we're actually kind of living in bliss at the moment. In the middle, and I'm not going to be able to pronounce these properly, we've got a Tzeentchian faction, which is a cult of Xianxin. Yeah. A little Tzeentch faction, obviously occupying a couple of settlements here, just being more of a pest than anything. And the same with this other faction. We've got Clan Eshin, the Eshin Clan Nest. I said the wrong way around. So another Skaven faction. Quite cool in the fact that this could be obviously where Clan Eshin comes from. Like, they're kind of trained in Nippon and then invaded Cathay. So quite cool. As we move over to the north here, so what this is described to me is basically Total War's version of Korea. So we've got the southern Korea here, South Korea. Owned by, again, another Cathayan clan faction called The Chosen. So looking quite nice here. They've got 4 settlements, so quite a big addition here. But what this allows people to do in Cathay, obviously the base game content, is like if people want to play Loki, they can now sail over here and take these settlements as well. It just opens up more play opportunities and more factions, which is quite nice. As we move north, we've got a Robier Chaos Warrior faction, owning quite a lot of settlements. To be fair, haven't they got 5 settlements altogether? That's actually quite a nice chunk of boys there. Again, being quite naughty in the fact of being able to attack Cathay, another northern threat. As we move even further north, we've got the Kuge clan, Norscan tribe. These were in the base game. In the Realms of Chaos mod, they spawned next to the Yusak tribe. However, unfortunately, in the Immortal Empires, they got cut out. So it's nice to see them back. This is a base game faction, but included now, so that's great. In the very northern east tippy top here, we have got the Tide of Defilement and Nurgle faction, led by, of course, none other than Alcor the Defiler, very aptly named. A cool thing here is similar to the sea lanes. We actually have a corridor here instead of a sea lane, where we can travel from here, excuse me, all the way over to where Valkyr is, which is really nice. Obviously, I implement a sea lane, but not a sea lane. So really nice to be able to, again, traverse from one side of the map to the other. Moving more central, we have... so this is Northern Waste. This is no longer Korea, may I add. This is now more of like Northern Chaos Wastes. We've got the Avags, which is another Norscan tribe. Quite nice, like bird themed. Oh no, that's definitely not a bird. I thought it was a bird, but it's a skull with a chain behind it. Never mind. That looks like a bird. As you go through the wave, that looks like a bird, and you get close, it's that is not a bird. Sure. Moving west, again, Yusak has got some more territory here, as has the Kazakhs. So again, basically in factions with just more territory. And then over here in the very northern west tippy top, we have another Norscan tribe called the Tokmars, which own obviously these 3 settlements here. And then the unfortunate truth of yet again, another faction which should be its own race, which unfortunately is not implemented and unfortunately may never be implemented in this game. We've got the Nag Rippers, which basically are hobgoblins. This is Hobhome, and his name is Gore Kill Khan, because he's meant to be a hobgoblin Khan. So it's such a shame, but yeah, we've got a Greenskins faction up here, occupying a couple of settlements here. But it'd be so nice to see. So that is what this mod adds, is 4 areas which are meant to have 4 different species or sub-races running it, and unfortunately 4 areas which are null and void of those factions, which is such a shame. We can paint them pretty and call them whatever we want, but they're not the same. But anyway, that's just part 1 of this mod. So that is kind of showing you off all the different areas. But unfortunately, this is just all left to the AI. We can't actually play down here. Well, we can play down here, but you have to conquer down here. You can't spawn down here. There's no legendary lords. These are all minor factions, which would be kind of interesting to see who rules the roost of these minor factions down here. But unfortunately, yeah, we can't actually go down here unless we conquer our way over there. Our best bet is probably playing as like Village there, or Lokia, or Nakai, or these, maybe Kugath. It's an awkward one. But I've got an interesting little mod, so let me just swap over to that one. That's a little sub mod. Let me just swap over to that one, and we'll see what it actually adds. Okay, so what this mod adds is 15 new legendary lords, which is glorious, by the way, to all the lands we've just seen. So we're going to go through each lord, where they start, and what kind of units they can recruit. I'm not going to go show you, unfortunately, all the units, because there's going to be boatloads of them, and that's not kind of the purpose of this video. It's kind of like to just show you the new lords, where they start and what they do. So starting off over here, we actually have a complete new faction, not a replaced faction. He's just kind of jumping in on Ind over here. So sorry to the Empire faction. We've actually got a Bretonnian faction. So this is Alphonse Dolmance, leading the Revelers of Dolmance. Now, as you can see here, he spawns with a Chaos Sorcerer, Sinesh. This boy is heavily corrupted. He loves himself. He's like Sigvald, but French. So, yeah, he's obviously got access to warband upgrades and stuff like that. Looking at the thingy tree here. Okay, this guy actually has a pretty difficult spawn, so I've decided to go through this way instead. So having a look at his military tree, this is a different mod, I believe. I don't think this is actually him. No, I think this is a different mod. He does have access to this though, a new basic military building, which gives him access to basically SNES units. Like I say, this boy is heavily corrupted, and so has access to just the warriors, the mortal units. No demons here, but he does have access to both the spellcasters there, as well as the marauders, the warriors, and the chosen variants. So a nice addition there. But yeah, straight off the get-go, he goes up against a pretty nasty army, and then he's got this to go up against. So good luck if he's playing this here. So there you go, that is a nice corrupted Bretonnian faction. Let's have a look at the next one. Okay, so here we go on the western flank here. Again, unfortunately, this Empire faction is just becoming the beating bag for everybody. We have got Duriath, Helbane. He's basically a crosshair general, very much like Loki, whose main job in life is to come and just ruin the High Elves down here. That is his mission. His literal mission is there to wipe out all of the High Elves. So here we go. A nice generic, I say generic very loosely, he's a Corsair Lord. So very much like Loki. No additional units, at least from what I can tell. But, you know, a nice choice if you want to play some Dark Elves. And if you want to play a thematic campaign of going after some High Elves. So not too bad. Again, obviously spawning on the western coast of Ind, right next to this Bretonnian faction. So you are going to be going to war with him as well. But you're both going to be jumping and clowning on this boy first. So there we go, some naughty, naughty Dark Elves here. Let's head on to the next one. Okay, so moving on, we've got the Dwarves here. Unfortunately, the Redbeard excavators were removed, but have been replaced by the Engineers Guild Expedition. So what I'm going to do actually is actually play this faction a little bit, because their faction mechanic I can't actually show you until they've got 300 Oath Gold. But basically they've got experiments and stuff, and once you've done like different experiments you get like a legendary hero. You've also got a legendary another legendary hero here called Gargle the Gunner, a legendary adventurer. So let's just kind of jump through here. Again, you're going to be spawning in Ind. Actually, for once, not jumping on the bandwagon of beating up this Empire faction here, but instead fighting some Ogres. So let's have a quick little gander here at what we can do. And I'll come back once we unlock the experimental study there. So give me 2 seconds. Okay, so here we go with the Forge panel. It's been a couple of turns and we've finally unlocked it. It's quite an interesting Forge panel. We've got some really good equipment here. So these items you find around the map, so if we just click on that for example, well, all the way over there, basically dotted around the new areas of the map. You're going to find some places like that, which is pretty cool. So in terms of actually getting these, yeah, you just go around, get them. There's some faction effects here, as you can see there, plus free control, replenishment rate, immune to attrition, which just in general, construction costs, which is really good. And now up here, we've actually got 3 legendary heroes. We've actually got a female dwarf called Shaz Ensun. We've also got Fulgrim the Thief and Scargel the Miner. So kind of cool. You're setting up your own little merry band of dwarves who are going on a expedition. And then on top of that, when you completed 4 of those experiments, you do also get another boy called Wundal the Wizard, which should be interesting to see. I'm assuming he is actually a wizard. You know, live and let live as dwarves. Well, they don't actually live and let live. He may be going in a book for recruiting a wizard under his wings, but you know, we'll see. But yeah, a really cool dwarven faction here. I actually might play this one myself in a future campaign. I'm trying to stay away from dwarves because I've got a dirty obsession with dwarves. That's not so bad. Let's just get to the next one. I'm going to make a name for myself. Okay, so moving on to the next faction, we've got some High Elves. I've just kind of done a little bit of testing about here because it's quite an interesting one. So these own the Gates of Caliph. He has access to convoys, which you can send around via sea lanes this time. So they actually travel by sea. So if we click on this one, we can actually see I've sent one there to the Palace of the Divine Sun. Now there is 2 different trading resources. So we've got Western commodities, and then we've also got Eastern commodities. And what you can do is literally sell the Western commodities to the Eastern side of the map, and you can sell the Eastern commodities to the Western side of the map, right? So it's pretty cool. Another thing that you can do is you can actually use those commodities to upgrade your own men, so ignore the orcs. Here we've got, if I had 50 Western commodities, which I've just unfortunately used to sail away. I could give them the Battle Harmony of Yang, passive Battle Harmony of Yang, which gives them obviously those buffs there, which is quite nice. Same here, we can upgrade these boys. If we had some, there you go, Battle Harmony Yin, if we had some Eastern commodities. So quite nice that you can kind of switch between obviously yin yang, get those benefits going there with these boys, which is pretty cool. What I'm going to do is just complete a couple of turns here for this convoy to reach its destination, because something happens when you actually get there. But a nice little starting location, and you start at war with the Skaven as well. So yeah, not too bad. Let's just skip forward a couple of turns, because something actually happens when you do complete a route. So give me 2 seconds and we'll skip to it. Okay, so there we go. Our convoy has just landed at the Palace of the Divine Sun, and when it does, it unlocks a little building there. So kind of like it's setting up like a pirate cove type thing. It's actually setting up a small trade hub, which over time it basically just gives you money, but it also gives you like access to being able to see the area. I mean, right there, tier 5. Don't get me wrong, it takes a lot of money, but you get a lot of Eastern commodities generated, as well as ammunition and missile strength plus 5% for both faction wide, which is really good actually, at the cost of 800 gold. So yeah, not too bad. Late game, that won't be bad at all. 800 gold, you'd be earning more than enough of that. But yeah, that's kind of a general sum of what he does. He kind of sails around, and true enough, the convoy did travel by sea. He kind of popped up over here and then popped up over here, and then obviously hit the Divine Sun. So a nice little high elf faction, which is more focused around convoys and trading, which is really good actually. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so moving on to the next faction, we've got a Khorne faction. So this boy's basically replaced the Khorne faction which spawned here. And I believe this used to be Arbal before he became an official lord. But now he's Lord Slaurith. He spawns with quite a lot of territory. He's got this whole entire province under his control, as well as the outposts as well. So, you know, he's living it large. His main mechanic is to actually hunt down his old knightly friends and slay them. So here, if we click on this panel down here, Hunting Champions, he's got all these different pointers here. Some of them are settlements, and some of them are like rogue armies kind of walking around. And yeah, his main goal is to go and either destroy them, or occupy them, or kill them. And in doing so, he gets benefits for his army. So for example, these ones, he gets plus 8 speed. Here he gets plus 8 melee attack. Sorry, there you go, melee attack. Here, melee defense. So, and that's for his whole entire armies, all his armies faction wide, which is quite nice. Also, like the little lore bits as well. So over here, one of his old knightly friends. It says here, in the clutches of beastmen and greenskins, the besieged knight awaits his doom, as Lord Slaurith hungers for a personal satisfaction of delivering the killing blow. So he's kind of been, there's a knight being captured by beastmen and greenskins up there, which is quite funny. Same here, what's here? With support from Bretonnia and the Empire, the valiant knight stands defiant against the encroaching forces of Lord Slaurith, as a united front of human realms battle for his salvation. So, quite cool there. So this guy's actually probably still a knight, but you know, fuck him, we're going to go kill him anyway. So yeah, a nice, again, thematic, cool Khorne faction, and he looks pretty naughty himself. Obviously a replacement for Arbal, but still heavily themed. So yeah, really nice. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so here we go. Again, a little bit of testing I've done beforehand. We've got a 1 of 4 Norscan Legendary Lords implemented in this mod. So we've got Sufferer Lenk up here. He basically has access to the Monstrous Arcanum here. Now, nothing shows up when I click on it, but I'm guessing eventually he'll unlock stuff which goes in there. So he's probably going to go on like Legendary Monster Hunts and stuff like that, but just not right now. Yeah, there you go. Lenk will directly face some monsters hidden within the Arcanum. So at some point he's probably going to get like battles pop up where he has to go fight them, which is cool. Outside of that, he also has this. So we've just captured a settlement. Auto-resolve, by the way, is awful, but it's Norsca, so what do you expect? We've just taken over the Blood Rift here against the Orc faction up here, and we captured a Feral Wyvern, so he does also have access to the monster pens as well, which is really cool, giving him access to all of these boys, being of which we just got 2 harpies from the first battle, and then from the settlement we've got a Feral Wyvern as well. Lovely jubbly. So a nice little boy. He's also massive. Let's see if I can just get him out of the settlement. He is one thick boy. He is a thick Norscan boy. So he is... He's after all those animals, not just for pets, but for food as well. So yeah, a nice little hunter-gatherer boy in the north here. So let's move on to the next one. There's one of 4, so let's move on to the next Norscan Lord. Okay, the next Legend Lord we have is Thorgar, and he's another... Oh, sorry, wolves are going off there. He's another Norscan Lord who his sole ambition is to become a demon, ascend to demonhood. So, ooh, sure. So there's going to be different quests which pop up, and as you complete them, he's going to get stronger and stronger until eventually his hopes is to become a demon. He spawns literally right next to the other lord we just looked at, so quite close there. At war with the Greenskins, which seems like everyone is at this point, and there's also lots of other Norscan tribes around you. Obviously to the south is Cathay and all the other such as well. So there we go. We've got Jarl Olaf there as well. He looks pretty cool. Most trusted lieutenant of Thorgar. Cool. He's cool. Win 5 battles against Grand Cathay. So that's going to be his first quest, is to go south and go take on Cathayans, basically. I'll let you discover that for yourself. I won't obviously jump into it too much here, but hopefully, maybe one day he'll ascend to demonhood. Thorgar, the Blooded One. Let's move on to the next Norscan Lord. Okay, so moving on to the third of the Norscan Lords, we have Volrik Clawhand from the Ravenblessed tribe. So he spawns in the north again, very close to the other 2 we've just covered. If I do that, you can see there's one. There's Thorgar, the Blooded One, and then over here is Surtha Lenk as well. So very close to the other 2 Norscan Lords. He, if you can't already tell by his colour and themed and everything about him, is very much inspired by Tzeentch. He can only dedicate to Tzeentch, but in doing so he has access to Tzeentchian powers, more winds of magic, more gifts of chaos specifically associated with Tzeentch. He can have just normal, but other than that it's all Tzeentch. He does also have access to the changing of ways as well, which is really nice. So expect some bullshittery from this Norscan tribe up here. But yeah, apart from that, he's pretty much clear written. He's just going to be here to just sow dismay and just upset people. And that's why he confederated this clan so quickly last time, because... Oh, I guess I don't get it. Hold on, let's have a look. I think he... Yeah, if you attack that army there, I don't think I can reach it. If you attack that army there, you'd confederate them. So if that's what happened last time, he must spawn closer to him, the AI version, because he confederated him turn 2. So yeah, you'll get a lot of land straight after get-go, which is really nice. But apart from that, just your run-of-the-mill Norscan tribes. Hopefully these will be buffed quite a lot in the new DLC when it comes out. But, you know, moving on to the last one. Let's see where he spawns. I wonder if he's up here as well. Let's move on to the last one. Okay, and so with the last boy, he is a completely new faction. He's not actually currently occupying any new territory himself. We've got Valbrand Fireblade of the Fireblade Slavers. He's basically just doing Viking things, but in the name for Khorne. So, as you can see here, a mix of some Norscan units as well as Cornish units. He has access to multiple technologies straight off the get-go, by the way, which is really nice to see. Or at least he did. Let's have a look. Yeah, so he's got some things here. Which allow him to upgrade the units, so that's fine. So that's why he's got them. Outside of that, he obviously is more blessed by Khorne, so he has access to Khornate gifts of chaos, as well as instantly having access to him, Scar Bloodwrath. obviously you still have to unlock him, but he has access to the quest straight away, which is really nice. And obviously you're attacking the South Korean Cathayan faction here, which is quite nice. Outside of that, you're just going to be more of a pest, a conquering pest, and you do also have access to the slave mechanic as well, so being able to use slaves, which is really nice. But outside of that, nice little faction, nice little addition, being a Viking in all its glory, not too far away from the other three Norscan lords, but yeah, a nice one, a nice addition to say that he's just kind of thrown in there as well. Again, not occupying any land, so yeah, cool. Let's head on to the next faction. Okay, so keeping in theme with the Northern Waste here, we've got the Nurgle faction, which has now been replaced with Orghotts Daemonspew, in obviously leading a tide of defilement. He's going to basically be kind of cleaning the way for Nurgle. So obviously, again, playing just normal, obviously fighting against whoever he chooses, but he's also got access to this. Now, this completely... you do this battle over and over and over again, because you're kind of cleaning it, right? That's the battle. Don't expect me to be able to do it straight away, but yeah, here you go. This boy's coming in, kind of making some dirty mess everywhere, and so here I am with Jesus Christ, plenty of boys. Hold on, let me just change difficulty there, so I hopefully won't lose anything. Nice, easy. Oh, he actually had loads of boys as well. So you do that battle, complete the mission, bosh, and then we get the mission again. We can do it again and again, and we just keep on. Basically, it's an XP farm. We get more and more benefits from it. We get obviously upgraded. We've got an armor of the silvered steel there, and then this time we get a war banner. So it allows you to keep on going and cleaning Nurgle's garden while also still being a menace in the Northern West. So there you go, a nice little naughty Nurgle faction. He has obviously other benefits as well, but yeah, not too bad. He only has one settlement, unfortunately, the Seagrave Port, but you know, live and let live. Let's move on to the next one. A nice cool little Nurgle faction now. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so moving back to Ind here, we've got Hrothyogg, the legendary man-eater ogre. He basically plays very similar to Golfag in the sense of he gets contracts and stuff like that. He can get more contracts by laying waste to people, like after a battle he may get a contract pop up. But outside of that, he's just very similar, a very normal kind of ogre kingdom. He does spawn with 3 settlements as well, which is quite nice for him, but he does spawn at war with the legendary dwarf faction down here, so you know, be careful. But outside of that, yeah, a nice ogre faction, not really too much to write home about, except from he just plays like Golfag, but in Cathay. So yeah, a nice addition, and he's got a mighty fine sword. Look at that, Jesus Christ! But yeah, a nice little ogre faction down here, quite close to obviously your ogre brethren, Greasus. So yeah, could probably link up and make friends. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe even Cafe. Who knows? But yeah, nice little ogre faction here. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so moving on, we've got a Tomb King's legendary lord on the east coast here. We've got Lich Lord Caritaman. And awful, looking really cool though. He's got like the eagle Ra mask on. It looks absolutely beautiful. In terms of what he does, he basically follows, again, pronunciation, I'm probably not even going to try, the Great Footsteps. I'm awful. I'm awful. I do apologise. So there you can see all those different settlements there, which are covered in red. Your purpose in this campaign is to try and go and capture all of them. As you can see there, progress level is at 0, so our weapon strength for all armies is at 0. The more you take over settlements, the stronger your armies get, basically. So yeah, really nice. Outside of that, there's nothing too different from him, apart from the fact that he spawns in the middle of fucking nowhere, against the Nippon-themed Cathayan armies here, and then obviously a little bit more north there. These settlements are donkeys away, by the way. So yeah, you kind of have to live and let live a little bit until we can get to wherever settlements are. All the lords he can recruit as well do have the God of the Sky and Justice skill as well, which is an additional skill just for them. And as you can see there, a little bit of additional melee defense for embedded lords and heroes, as well as more carrion, which, sure, he loves carrion. That's fine. But yeah, a nice addition, a welcome addition, because, you know, not enough Tomb Kings in the world. So yeah, nice to have someone all the way over here kind of doing God's work. And by God, I mean the Karen gods. So let's move on to the next Lord. Really cool, by the way. Loving him. Okay, so moving on to the last three factions here, we have a vampire faction, vampire camp faction. So this is a new faction. Obviously, the Chaos Warriors here kind of owned all of this, all the way down to Nagar here. So, yeah, still owns that settlement over there, but you know, that's fine. Really cool looking. So this is Zacharias of the Ever Living. His aim is to try and collect again all the books in Nagash. They are more centered around him as well, which is quite nice actually, instead of obviously being all the way over here or whatnot. So good. He also has a pretty interesting Regiment of Renown giant here, Frederick von Hal. So he's a little lore bit here. Von Hal, once a powerful priest of Moor, struck down by Zacharias' puppet Von Deal, now serves as the ever-living's finest experiment, which I just love the fact that he's just a, like, Frankenstein monster giant who's just kind of walking around with him. I love that. Gets a hero of a Banshee here, which is nice, lovely. And then again, going up against the Warriors of Chaos here, so actually probably doing the rest of the continent a favour. Book and Nagash right there, by the way, so that's not too bad. But you're not going to be making too many friends. Obviously, you've got High Elves to the south, you could probably slap. And then the boys to the north as well, all of them, by the way. So yeah, a nice little addition. Again, having access to bloodlines and stuff like that, so all the same there. But yeah, really cool Lord. Love the Regiment Renown boy there. Let's keep on going. The second to last Legendary Lord, let's have a look at. Okay, so moving on to the second to last Legendary Lord, we have Engra Deathsword here, Warriors of Chaos Legendary Lord. Looking really cool, by the way. He spawns over on the northern part of Warhammer Korea, which is completely fine. Very close to obviously plenty of Norskins if you want to vassalize them, or if you just want to go slap some boys. You do start a war with another Warriors of Chaos clan there, or faction. His mechanic here is to actually capture settlements and trade it to Archaon, as well as souls. So you can see here when I hover over there, gifting conquered settlements to Archaon provides shared bonuses with the Warhost of the Apocalypse. And then starts with Unbreakable Pact with Warhost of the Apocalypse. So already we should be in... I mean, he hates us, sorry. Oh god, yeah, rules tolerance to Death's Soul Warband. So he doesn't actually hate us. But we can't join war against him. So yeah, we are literally bum buddies, but right now he's not biggest of fans. But as we collect souls, we get different buffs. So there, he's hungry, so we get... Once we've got 10,000 souls, we get more leadership and melee attack. When he's eating, we get more health and more melee defense. And then when he's full, so after 50,000 souls, he gets 10% ward save. All my armies, get 10% ward save, which is insane, actually. Nice little starting army. Plenty of Chaos Warriors, some Chosen, Chaos Giant. A pretty elite starting force there, to be fair, so not too bad. And you do get a sorcerer as well, so not too bad. A nice little start position. Again, you can go lay waste to Cafe at your own will, as well as exploring south and north as well, so really good. Let's head on to the last of the Legendary Lords, and probably someone we're not expecting, so let's have a look. Okay, so here we are with the last Legendary Lord. We've got Skeolan of the Exiles of Atawyeth. He spawns all the way down here in the very southeast corner on the Lost Isles of Elithis, I believe, if that's right. He's going to try and obviously conquer these, because apparently these locations belong to the Wood Elves, belong to him, not the dirty High Elves. So he's going to take back these settlements, and then for good measures he's going to also take over these settlements, because they're all connected under the same major forest here. Outside of that is apparently an exiled warrior who was sent away from the world roots in the centre of the map. So his literal lordship bit is he's been sent away, and he's planning his definitive return to the Oak Glades. He Obviously has lots of benefits there. He has bonuses for entering frozen climates, as well as magical forests. And then the spell singers and spell weavers have access to the law of ice. He's a little bit of an Elsa fan, I believe, from Frozen. So there you go. This boy here, this girl, has ice magic, which is really nice to see. So there we go. I thought that's a nice little tie together of the Immortal Empires Expanded map, which obviously adds loads of new settlements, loads of new land, as well as new factions, as well as another mod which works in conjunction with this, which adds new legendary lords. So now you have actual lords down here to be able to play and explore the land. We will see when it comes to the future of this game what happens. There is talks about the massive DLC being released next year, obviously being the End Times DLC, but there are also talks that it could be Ind and Khuresh. A boy can dream. Personally, for me, I would like it to be the Ind and Khuresh DLC because I know that we're going to get the End Times DLC anyway. So I'd like them to be surprising us instead of just being like, oh, well, this thing you've known about for years, here it is. Like, great, fantastic. So why you just could have told us that today, sort of thing. Like, ugh. Anyway, enough of me whistling. There we go. A nice little double whammy of a mod showcase there. If you have enjoyed, please do leave me a like. Subscribe if you haven't already. Links to both the mods will be left below. The mod with the Legendary Lords cannot be played without the Immortal Empires Expanded mod, but the Immortal Empires Expanded mod can be played without the Legendary Lord mod. So it's completely up to you if you install both of them or just the one. So with that being said, I hope you have a good rest of your day, and I hopefully will catch you in the next one. Bye!